These are the books that were the foundation of me really opening my mind and opening my heart and deepening my spirituality, learning to love myself a bit more, hear myself and listen to myself and take chances and just show up more confidently. Hi, my loves. So today I'm drinking some spiked apple cider. I can drink spiked warm apple cider all year long, like summer included. I'm that person. I drink tea all year long. I love hot bevvys, but I love a spiked apple cider. It's like my favorite thing. We have a big apple cider that was left over from the holidays. I decided to warm one up and add a little bit of Jameson. And so that's my bevvy of the day. Let me know what you bought today for your bevvy. So I know you guys know as I'm talking, I'm always mentioning like a book that I got a quote from or like an author that I got all these ideas and these ways of thinking from. And a lot of times, so many of you have asked, did you gain insight from books or did you take a class? I am a bookworm. I became a bookworm once I started on my spiritual journey. I just began reading tons and tons of books. I used to do better at reading actual books, and I used to have all of the real books and read them through. I've been doing a lot of Audible lately, which I do want to get back to just reading and like using my eyes to actually read and stopping myself, because when I'm doing Audible, I'm moving around, I'm cleaning, I'm driving, I'm always doing something else, and a lot of times I have to rewind back. I say all that to say I used to read a lot of physical books, especially in the first part of my journey. I think that was a huge part of like discipline too, like sitting down and getting through those books. But lately I've been doing Audible. So I'll have some physical books to show you today, and some I'll just, I guess, show you like the title on my Audible. But today we're going to be talking about the books that I read that changed my life. Now, I will say this. We are talking about a 10 plus year journey, because I really started this journey back in like 2012. That was when I really started diving in and learning different things about myself. So over a 10 plus year period, I have read a lot of books, and a lot of them I've just taken certain parts, certain things that I just hold on to. I may not be able to remember the whole book, but I'm definitely going to go over each book and what it taught me, the parts of the books that stuck with me, that became a part of my personality, the things I hold on to as I navigate this journey and as I continue to grow. Of course, we're going to start by setting an intention from my I'm Listening Self-Love Edition deck. I'm going to pull this card because this was something that I had to ask myself when I first started reading these books to change my mind and change my life. Does the current state of my life feel good for me? So when I first started reading these books, I was working at jobs that I didn't want to be at anymore. I knew I wanted more for my life. I was working as a call center specialist at Temple, and I transitioned from that into being a receptionist. I was in that space where I was ready to grow, but I didn't really know how. I started to build my mind and build my self-confidence and like really speak to my spiritual side and, you know, believing in myself. And so I think that's a great question to ask, because if it doesn't feel good, what are you going to do to change it? What things are you willing to learn or implement or master so that you can get to that next level? Okay, so let's do it. I'm excited because books are my thing. So the first book I read was something that I found, I don't know if anybody recommended it to me, but I think as I started looking up self-help books, I think I started looking up like building confidence in doing the things that I imagined in my mind. I had dreams for a long time and I wasn't acting on them because, I don't know, I felt like I couldn't achieve them. I felt like I looked around and I didn't see people doing that same thing. And it kind of was this idea of like, well, why do you think? Why do you think you're going to be able to do this? You know, it was this like, I don't know. It was these big dreams, and I just needed to get into a space of believing. And so one of the first books that I read was this book called Who Says You Can't, You Do by Daniel Chidiak. This book reminded me that I am the only one who's telling myself that I can't achieve something or I can't do something or make something happen for myself. Reading this book opened that idea up to me that I am in charge of what I get to do, and I'm in charge of how far I get to go. It's up to me whether I believe it or not, and whether I say I can or I say I can't. That's the truth, and that's what will happen. However, it took me years to actually solidify this lesson that I don't need outside validation. I think this book is so important because it planted that seed in my head. And so every time this idea of validation came up, I kept coming back to this book. I kept coming back to the parts of this book that I read that spoke to not needing anyone's permission to go after the life that I want. So if you're in the beginning of your journey, or even if you're not, if you're just still working on not needing outside validation and just wanting to believe in yourself, this was a great one. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This just sticks with you because it's so simple. It's like a super easy read. As you see, the book is very small. It's quick. The writing is pretty big, so you get through it super fast. And so at different times of my life, I remember different agreements. One of the ones that pop up for me a lot is being impeccable with my word, because as a people pleaser, I used to always just say yes to things and like agree to want to go places or agree to do something for someone. And then when it came up, I didn't really want to do it. It turns out I didn't want to do it from the very beginning. The things that I was excited about, I would show up for, but I was saying yes to things that I didn't want to. And it wasn't that person's fault. It was my fault. And that pops up for me often. Now that I can say no, my no's are easy and they're not, I don't have to think about it so much. And that's actually the first agreement. Then it's don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and then always do your best. I remember after reading this, I wrote down those 4 agreements, kept them in my phone, kept them on a note, and I kept going back to it. Like, are you living up to that? And if you keep those simple things in your mind, it helped me to show up so much better and not be so hard on myself. Because when you go to that last one, always do your best. Sometimes your best is only 40% of what you gave yesterday. But as long as you know you gave it your all at the capacity that you're at in each day, you get to walk away from that not feeling guilty or not feeling like you didn't do. I did have something highlighted that I wanted to see what it was, because I don't know. I haven't read this in so long. Ooh, this is a good one. It says, we make assumption that everyone sees life the way that we do. We assume that others think the way we think, feel the way we feel, judge the way we judge, and abuse the way we abuse. This is the biggest assumption that humans make. And this is why we have a fear of being ourselves around others, because we think everyone else will judge us, victimize us, abuse us, and blame us as we do ourselves. I read this so long ago, The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. So this goes along with Who Says You Can't, You Do, but this has a more spiritual tone, and it really talks about your inner life and the habits and things that you have that are holding you down, the things that you've attached yourself to, the things that you believe about yourself, all the things that you have taken on throughout time, and you've decided this is who I am, this is how I've always been. And this talks to what is possible. So opening up your mind and going within, allowing yourself the freedom to truly let go of all the things that you believe is for you that is no longer working for you, right? We can hold on to the things that are working that feel good, but if something isn't working and if something makes you feel stagnant or you feel unhappy, it's important to look at your habits and look at what ways you may be holding on to things that you don't need to be holding on to anymore. So I read all these within the same time frame, and they just really helped me to realize that I was holding on to a lot of things and telling myself a lot of things that I didn't need to be telling myself, and that there were options outside of all the things that I had always believed in, options outside of the things that were making me feel heavy, like I had no other options or hopeless. This book was amazing in helping me to open that up. Okay, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. This one is deep because Eckhart Tolle is really, really deep. It really is about being present. So often we're thinking about what happened in the past and we're scared of that repeating, or we're anxious about what's going to happen in the future. We're creating things in our mind that have not even happened, but we're living it once in our head. And then if it does happen, now we're living it twice, 3 times, or however many times you play that in your head. This helped me to become centered, to come back to the present moment. And when I am thinking about things that I don't want to be thinking about, to remember right now I am okay. I have the option of what I focus my mind on, and I have the option of thinking about what I want to come about. It really helped me to focus on the actions that I'm taking now, the practices that I'm building now. If I'm in meditation, what am I focusing on now? When I'm with my loved ones, am I paying attention? Am I present? Am I appreciative and grateful for the good things that are happening now, right? And then I want to read you a few things that I highlighted in here. Your life situation may be full of problems. Most life situations are. But find out if you have any problem at this moment. Not tomorrow or in 10 minutes, but right now. Do you have a problem now? That was even life-changing because, yeah, we're going through things and like there's so many things that can be going on in life, but like in this moment, right now, wherever you sit or stand, are you okay? And can you appreciate and hold on to that moment? Like right now, I am okay. Such an eye-opener that we have that option to do that. Do not be concerned with the fruit of your action. Just give attention to the action itself. The fruit will come of its own accord. This is a powerful spiritual practice. It definitely helped me in that time to even start on this path and opening my mind to understanding that there's other possibilities other than how I've been living. Okay, you guys know this is my fave. I've watched the movie 1,000 times. It is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. This is the book that truly introduced me to the law of attraction and to manifestation and truly thinking what I wanted to experience. And I've had some amazing strides in learning how to use my connection with the Creator, with God, and to deepen that and believe in the power that I have and the power of focused attention and how that changes how I see the world, how I feel inside, the energy that I'm exuding, not only for myself, but for the people around me. The Secret is one of my faves. I'm going to be honest though, I don't know if I got through the whole book. I know I've watched the movie multiple times and I've been through the book. I don't know if I've read through the whole book, but again, the movie is from the book. It's adapted into a movie. I always say with the movie, there's parts of it that can feel a little bit cheesy, but the underlying message of that movie is everything. And it really is just, the deepest part of it is believing that you can have the things you're asking for, closing your eyes and being able to imagine yourself having it. And how would you truly feel? And I'm not just talking just the excitement, but like what's worked for me is feeling at ease. You know what I mean? Like the feeling of having abundance and like paying my bills and going on a trip and then still looking at my account and having excess and being able to help family, being able to help where I can with family, friends, or donate and still be in a great space of just abundance. I honestly imagine myself in my new home, laying on my couch, watching Grey's Anatomy because I'm at ease and I am living the life that I want to live, that I asked for and that I internally worked for, because undoing these things is work, right? And that I believed I could have. So if you are interested in the law of attraction and learning more about it, the movie or the book is very, very helpful. So yes. Okay, so this was a fun one, and I have all my little notes in here. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I had fun with this book. After going through all my spiritual books, and I felt like that was necessary for the beginning of my journey because I really had to go inside and go a little deeper. But then this one was just fun because she just speaks directly to you. It feels like talking to a girlfriend. It feels like just having a conversation with a friend that is kicking you in the butt and like, girl, you are it. You are that girl. This is the book that says you are that girl. Okay. Let me see what some of my many tabs, as you can see. Let's see. Okay, it says, when making decisions about your life, here are some questions you should ask. Is this something I want to be, do, or have? Is this going to take me in the direction that I want to go? Not should go, but that I want to go. Is this going to screw over anybody else in the process? I love those questions because I always say, as long as your intentions are good, look, I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to understand it, but I am happy for you if you are pursuing something that makes you truly happy. And then it says the definition of screwing someone over is taking their money and doing a lousy job, or destroying their water source, or enslaving populations, your mother being disappointed or your father disapproving, or friends being outraged does not qualify as screwing someone over. Hurting other people, can't support that. It's an immediate no for me. But like disappointing people because I'm not doing what they want me to do, that's not screwing anyone over. So life is an illusion created by your perception, and it can be changed the moment you choose to change it. It's about respecting yourself instead of catering to your insecure need to be liked. Okay, I'm gonna stop. This is one of my, it's such a fun read, but it's also getting you together. Yes, The Alchemist. This is good because it's a fiction book, but the lessons in what he goes through teaches you so much at the end. Taking lemons and turning them into lemonade, taking what you thought was the worst thing and making it work for you, and continuing to push through on your dreams, continuing to push through on your vision, no matter what comes in your path, keeping your eye on the vision, and to know what's for you is for you. We can have people that try to take away from us or try to stop us on our journey. We can have so many roadblocks that come along, and it is up to us to keep pushing through. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is chef's kiss, and I actually read this later in my journey, either 2022 or 2023, and I've had it for the longest. I've always heard about it, but I just read it. It's so worth being a classic. Okay, now let's go to my Audible, because that's where I've been reading my other books. I know I'm giving you a lot, but as I always say, come back to this when you need suggestions for new books for different reasons. I actually recently featured this book on my website, The Creative Act. Oh, So good. I think I talked about this in my last video or maybe the one before that, but The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is a music producer, but he is also he knows himself well and he's secure in himself. And I love hearing him talk because he's just so non-judgmental and just so very in touch with himself. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. I read this in the summer of 2023 while I was in that point of trying to figure out what I wanted and feeling really lost. And again, it just opened my eyes to being an artist and how I create, not to think so much, not to overthink it, to take the things that I'm feeling in my heart, the things that I visualize as my art and not make sense of it. Like, it gave me permission to just put my things out there and let it do what it does. This book was instrumental in me talking to you guys because before that I was overthinking it. Like, I was like,
does this make sense? Is what I'm saying making sense? Like, I feel like it makes sense to me, but does it?
I stopped. And I just went for it. I started to create things on my other social channels of things that I was just feeling that I felt people could connect with. I would see visuals and I'm like, that doesn't really connect. They don't really go together, but I'm going to do it. And I did it and it worked and it feels good. And it gave me freedom to just be who I am and create what I want to create and go after it. And so if you are in a rut or if you're feeling stuck or if you're so worried about what people think, you don't want to put your things out there because it doesn't make sense. If you're having any doubts around something you want to create or see, whether it's art, whether it's just a speech, whether it is something you want to do with your child, a meal you want to cook, like literally it gave me freedom to just be and try things and go with all the ideas that are popping up. Game changer. I've listened to it about 3 times. I'm in the process of re-listening to it now because it just keeps reminding me and I keep taking little nuggets from it, but it keeps grounding me in myself. And it's called The Creative Act, a way of being, because it's not just talking to artists and creatives or people who identify as creatives, but he actually says he believes that every human being is a creative and is an artist. He speaks to just trusting yourself more, and it allowed me to trust myself more and trust what I see, and that is a message from God, and it is something that's supposed to come through me. So thank you, Rick. Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown. So good, because again, it's another book that you just feel like you're talking to your friend, your auntie. Her path was so different. She had to fail a lot and she had to go through all these things, including illness, in order for her to really realize what she wanted to do in life. And I related to her story so much as a creative, going through these ups and downs and not knowing what you're doing and just praying it will work and just staying true to what is coming through to you, and again, and not making sense what you're doing, but then one day it just all makes sense. It's really good to hear someone's creative story where they went through these ups and downs and just staying true to what is pulling them. Such a good read. And the book that stays on repeat for me is What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey and The Path Made Clear by Oprah Winfrey. They are hand in hand, and it's just these nuggets of wisdom and of spiritual alignment, of getting back in touch with yourself, reminding you of all the little signs that the universe is sending, that God is sending through people, through experience. She reminds you to take the things you're learning and not just have these perceived bad things happen, but to look for the lesson in them, to just get more connected with yourself on a deeper level, which is you getting more connected to God, the creator, source, whatever you call it. Innately, you getting more in touch with yourself and going deeper and listening a little bit more to what is meant for you and only you. So good. I've been re-listening to those 2 books for the last probably 3 or 4 years now. Anytime that I'm just in need of like a little spiritual uplift, I'll just put that on while I'm showering, doing my makeup or getting dressed or whatever. So really, really good ones. And some honorable mentions as far as biographies or autobiographies. Worthy by Jada was so good. Viola Davis, Finding Me, so good. And Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson, so good. I love reading autobiographies and biographies because it reminds you that we are all very alike, more alike than we would like to think, that we all have flaws and that we all make mistakes, and it's what we decide to do with those mistakes. Witnessing their success, knowing what they've overcome, it's just like a boost. So I get most of my books from thriftbooks.com because you can get them gently used and you're paying like a fraction of the price. I think I get them for anywhere from like $3 up until like $8. I think that's the most I've paid. And they go higher, but most of the books that I have gotten has been in that realm. So if you're looking for a place to buy books for a little bit cheaper, it's been my go-to. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm in the process of finishing and reading. The 12-Week Year, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Lighter by Young Pueblo. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Setting Boundaries, Finding Peace. I'm still reading that. Again, that's a slow read for me because I've been having to really apply those things, but that's a good thing. Drama Free, also by Nidra Glover-Tawwab. Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. Spare by Prince Harry. That's really good too. I have all these in a list in the link below. If you're in Philly and you have a free library card, you can also download Libby. It allows you to listen to audiobooks for free. As long as they have it in the category and they have thousands of books, you can listen for free. So that's a little hack. I've been slacking because I have not updated my library card. And so, yeah, I've been using Audible. Don't be like me. Go ahead and get your free books, okay? So that was a roundup of some of my favorite books. I have so many more that I could go over, but I'm going to stop there because I don't want to completely overwhelm you if I haven't already. So there is a book I'm reading right now called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. This book is a little bit out there, okay? He talks a lot about the brain, and you can easily get distracted. He talks a lot about quantum physics and science and things like that. So it's a little bit out there. If you're into that type of stuff, you'd love it. I'm into reading so many different things on different ways of thinking and living life, different religions, I love learning and taking in knowledge so that I can make a decision on what works for me. But I'm so interested in it because he talks about he talks about a lot, but he talks about these 3 levels of learning. And you can either be a philosopher and just learn things. You can know it and repeat it back. But then there's the second level of doing it and putting it in practice. And a lot of people never get to that second step. And I say that because you can read all these books, but if you never apply what you learn, if you read it and you're like, oh, that's good, and you never actually try it when you're talking to your friends or family or in your business or in your personal life or just for yourself, if you never actually put it into practice, then it's knowledge that's in your brain, but you're not going to change anything. And I think a lot of us read these books and we think that by reading the next book and the next book and taking the next course or class or working with a life coach or a therapist, they can say something that sparks something in you. But don't let that fool you into believing that that's you applying it and that that's going to change your life just by knowing it. If we can all commit to learning things and then somehow applying it, trying it in real time, over time, continuing to try it in real time, it becomes a part of who we are. It becomes habit. And then we are it. Then it is a part of us, right? So I hope that if you're getting any of these books or any books that you have read, if you need to reread them, if you need to take the tidbits that really stuck with you and figure out how you put those into play. You know, I love a 30-day reset. You know, I love a try it for 30 days. So try it for the next month or however long it takes to start feeling like I see the changes. I really feel it. I challenge you to not be the philosopher. That's why they say those who can't do teach, because I think those who can't do just haven't applied it to themselves. They can teach the subject, but they're not applying it to their real lives. So let's not be just philosophers if we want to see change in our lives. Let's put this into practice. Don't just think by reading these books that that's the way that I started to change. I've read some of these books and I've had to go back and reread them because I read it and I was like, ooh, that's good. And then I went on to the next book without even applying what I learned at this one. And so now I am adamant in what I'm reading. Am I also applying it? Am I trying it daily until it feels good? So that's what I hope you walk away with. Again, I think this is one of those videos you can come back to 1,000 times when you need a book recommendation. These are the books that were the foundation of me really opening my mind and opening my heart and deepening my spirituality, learning to love myself a bit more, hear myself and listen to myself and take chances and just show up more confidently. And they're books that I will go back to 1,000 times. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And until next time, keep living in love, in light, and in your truth. Mwah. Bye.